This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Same, just brand new crew. Back to the spot with the wind don't breeze. Psychic crown with a little low key. Guess that don't count. None found, so invisible. Why do you have to sound so unoriginal? Disallow my vowels, gon' get that bounce up and down that couch, impeccable. Kill 'em with a little bit of rhythm for your payroll. I'm for your nation, I'm a nation, get peso. Put 'em in the back, strike fast like Pablo. Like Pablo, like Pablo, like Pablo.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it, I know it, and let's keep it in that fashion. It does not matter who the host is. What matters is who the listeners are. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods. Today is Tuesday, June the 11th of 2024, day 163rd of the year, and only 203 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
With streams so crisp that you can feel the sarcasm in your ear holes. Radio Big.
Yes, sarcasm and ear holes are a best combination of things on how things should be done. There is no doubt about that. So what's going on? How are you? How are things? A lot of interaction yesterday, by the way, after our little Safety 1 and Safety 2 conversation during our main story. So that was pretty interesting. Oh, and yeah, by the way, for all the people that were like, hey, what's going on with the video? Radio first. Remember, radio first, podcast second, and then video is third. So that's why there hasn't been a lot of focus on the vid as of late. You know, it's one of those things that I don't love the video. I've said that, but you know, we do it because people have asked for it, but that's about it. I mean, but you're not really seeing anything. All you're seeing is that I'm locked up in some room somewhere and doing a recording. Really what it boils down to. But I appreciate the level of concern of not being behind the cam. So here we are. We're behind the camera once again. So there you go. Anyway, so how are you? You ready? Are you ready to talk about all this stuff? Well, let's talk about it. So we are a show that talks about safety and the news and safety. If you want to interact with the show, it's simple to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That'll get everything moving and grooving for you in regards of things that are going on. So you get that whole thing. You get to come in. You get to do the video, the audio, or the text messaging aspect, and that's how we get to interact. It's a great portion on how we get to do stuff, no doubt there. So don't worry about that. And you know, the way that we do things is we talk about safety, we talk about the news, we give you some sarcasm, we bring in some other broadcasters that talk about some things that are going on because we want to make it fun. Yeah, a fun time for you, a fun time for me. All the normal stuff as we are talking. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we talk real quick about what the hell was trending in the overnight? Because I think that's going to be important.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look, home ownership costs explodes over the last 4 years, and some closure in bizarre fraud trial. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. What else do we have? Ben and Jen spent some time together and recently listed a mansion. More about that as we get into showbiz. Also, Denise Richards is getting her own reality show. Guess that was important to talk about. We'll talk about that as we get into casting call. And a power of attorney manages for a prominent divorce. We'll talk about that as we get into the royals. Yeah, so all that kind of fun stuff. So there you go. Royals, all that. The stuff that we talk about. Whatever, Anyways, let me talk about this because I haven't talked about it, I don't think. But yeah, here we are. Less than 90 days away. The Conklin Conference going on in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Conklin Conference 3. We'll talk about human and organizational performance. If you want to come and hang out with us, we'll be talking about all of that fun stuff because that's what we do. So Santa Fe, New Mexico, September the 10th through the 12th. Going on in 3 months, though. For more information, safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io to find out some more info. No doubt there about what is going on. So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into some news items because I think that that's going to be important right now. So let's go ahead and get into the news because we have people waiting to tell you about the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Feature story news in London. I'm Ollie Barrett. The United Nations Security Council has voted in favour of a US plan for a Gaza ceasefire. It includes the release of hostages held by Hamas, the exchange of Palestinian prisoners, and a full and complete ceasefire. The US says Israel has accepted the plan and is urging Hamas to agree to it. The Conservatives are launching their election manifesto on Tuesday in the UK, including a pledge to cut taxes. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says a further cut to national insurance tax on earnings would be accompanied by a tax break for pensioners and a promise not to increase income tax, national insurance or VAT sales tax. Home Secretary James Cleverly says the party is listening to people.
We're cutting taxes for working people to show them that we take the cost of living challenges that they've experienced seriously. That is why we're recruiting not just 20,000 officers in the police, but the additional 8,000 again to demonstrate that we are taking the concerns of British people seriously.
The Labour Party, which leads in the polls, is promising an extra 100,000 dentist appointments for children. The Liberal Democrats are calling for a fund to support doctors in remote areas. Reform UK want to raise tax thresholds, and the SNP are promising more support for grassroots football. 8 people have died in eastern India in the last 3 days of suspected heat stroke. Since March, more than 200 people have reportedly died of heat-related illnesses across the country, and thousands have fallen ill, according to media reports. No nationwide official tally's been released, Neha Punia reports.
The deaths reported in the eastern state of Odisha take the total death toll from heat-related deaths this summer to 160 in the region. Heatwave conditions are expected to continue to last there for the rest of the week. Temperatures across most parts of north, eastern and western India are nearly 6 degrees Celsius higher than normal. India has experienced a hotter than normal summer with high humidity levels causing many to fall ill. Meanwhile, India's capital city New Delhi saw the mercury touch the 50 degrees Celsius mark last month and is currently grappling with an acute water shortage.
The US and South Korea have begun plans to respond to a hypothetical nuclear attack by North Korea. Officials from the two countries met for the first meeting of the Nuclear Consultative Group in Seoul on Monday. Chris Gilbert reports.
The group is a direct result of an agreement for bilateral cooperation on extended nuclear deterrence between US and South Korean leaders at a Washington summit last year. The meeting was held between deputy defense chiefs from the two countries who did not provide details on the outcome, but did confirm they had produced guidelines that sets up the architecture for future talks and bilateral exercises. The US said the completion of the guidelines document was a significant achievement for the first ever meeting of the Nuclear Consultative Group.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, what to make of the weekend resignation of Benny Gantz from Benjamin Netanyahu's war cabinet. The move came just hours after 4 Israeli hostages in Gaza were rescued in a military operation that the local health authorities claim cost 274 Palestinian lives. Mr. Gantz, a former deputy prime minister, had previously threatened to leave the cabinet after urging Netanyahu to clarify his plan for Gaza's future. Noga Tarnopolsky is a freelance reporter in Jerusalem.
The impact is difficult to gauge this early on. While Benny Gantz and his party never actually joined the coalition, never joined the government, they were only part of the war cabinet. So this doesn't change the parliamentary balance for Netanyahu, which remains a narrow majority, but it could cause a lot of upheaval indirectly, because whereas Gantz and his partners' voices were very powerful voices for moderation and conventional politics, now they're gone. And I think it's very possible that the first thing we'll see is a sharp, radical right-wing turn by Netanyahu's government.
In his resignation speech, Benny Gantz called for early elections in Israel. Western governments view him as a moderate, but his success restraining Netanyahu in Gaza has not been particularly evident. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, the UN Security Council's voted in favour of a US plan for a Gaza ceasefire. In the UK, the Conservatives are launching their election manifesto on Tuesday, including a pledge to cut taxes. 8 people have died in eastern India in the last 3 days of suspected heat stroke. And the US and South Korea have begun plans to respond to a hypothetical nuclear attack by North Korea. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Jay Allen in the morning on Radio Big.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, I believe that you have to believe in magic if you're listening to something magical, that's for sure, as we are doing our thing. It is currently 18 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday, doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. So let's talk about it from the top of the shit list and exactly what is going on inside of the world here, because I think that that's going to be something that we're going to need to do. So let's go ahead and do that right now. The cost of home ownership, not including mortgage payments, are up 26%, at least for the last 4 years. Expenses like taxes, insurance, utilities, and basic items to keep the house running, things like furnace filters, rock salt for water softeners, have surged alongside relentlessly. Year over year, compounding inflation has not helped this either. Homes in Utah were the hardest hit, with maintenance costs increasing. Are you ready for this? By 44% since March of 2020. 44%. So overall, the average cost of annual home maintenance added up. You ready for this? Added up to about $18,118 a year. This is according to Bloomberg. So, home ownership, $18,800 or $18,118 is what the was what it's going up to, and that's average. So think about that. That's maintenance, keeping up. That's the taxes. That's the insurance. That's the utilities. That's not counting the mortgage. The mortgage, the portion of it that you pay for, that you pay for to make sure that it goes lower. Here's what people don't realize is that sometimes when you do these mortgages that are like crazy length of time, and I'm talking anything over 15-year mortgage, that's when you start realizing that you're really not paying anything hardly towards the principal. And once you start realizing that, you go, oh, shizney, what am I doing to myself? Because that's the part that's going to kill you. If you're paying, hardly anything on the principal, you're going to be paying it for a long period of time. I mean, there was a mortgage company that contacted me, was like, oh, let's refinance your stuff, and we'll give you 40 years. 40 years. You know how old I'll be by the time that if I paid it off, if I did it in that fashion? Who knows, man? Who knows?
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's follow up from last week. A juror on Minnesota fraud case reported someone tried to bribe her to let her defendant off the hook. She was dismissed before deliberations began. The jury panel convicted 5 of the 7 defendants for their effort to embezzle $40 million in the pandemic-era government funding that was earmarked for child food programs. More than 60 more people have faced trial in the widespread fraud. Together, they walked away with $250 million. This is according to CNN. So you know how this becomes. It becomes one of those things that you go, okay, well, people become skeptical because of the things that are going on. And, well, when you start listening to shit like this, you're going to go, well, of course people are going to be saying, hey, let's not do anything in the future for this. Because, hey, if it was so easy to get over the system at that time, why would we want to do anything? So $250 million with 60 people or so, give or take, doing that. Sounds like some crazy times if you really give it some consideration. No doubt about that. Also, if you're going to get drunk and rob a house, maybe grab a coffee first for a little pick-me-up. A Georgia man has been arrested after breaking into an empty house, stealing a jar of change, and using the coins to buy what police called a copious amount of adult beverages. Then the thief returned to the same home to get loaded and passed out. The homeowner's parents eventually came back and held the burglar at gunpoint until the cops arrived, who then took him into custody. In a cheeky statement from the Franklin County Police Department, officers warned if you do allegedly commit a burglary, don't allegedly burglarize a residence that is protected by parents who believe in the Second Amendment. Yeah, I think you got the means there. This is according to Fox Carolina. Yeah, Fox Carolina. So I would imagine that it's Fox News or the Fox affiliate for Carolina, not Fox Carolina, because I've never heard of it. I mean, I'm just saying. What do you think? No, seriously, what do you think? I don't know. Just asking the question. Anyways, take a listen to this. The frosty relationship between North and South Koreas are getting weirder. In recent weeks, the North sent balloons carrying garbage and human waste into the South in a response of the South pamphlets that it was sent calling for the people to rise up against Kim's regime. The South has resumed blasting messages through loudspeaker into North, calling them similar revolution. In a statement published by the state media, Kim Jong-un and his sister of North Korean Kim Jong-un Jr. promised a new counteraction of the DPKR if South Korea keeps it up. Whether that might entail, state media also reports that the South sent 1,400 propaganda balloons into the North over the weekend. So there you go. Also, or let's say meanwhile, Russian dictator Vladimir Putin is planning a trip to North Korea and Vietnam later this month. North Korea has been supplying Russia with ammunition to support its war against the Ukraine. So I don't know. This gets weirder and weirder as we are talking about it. What do you think here? I mean, think about this. So you're sending stuff over because you don't like what's being said. So then all of a sudden you're sending trash and human waste via balloons. So I'm trying to figure out what these balloons look like, because that's going to be the other portion. Because, you know, automatically I start thinking Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade kind of balloons, trying to make it over. I mean, of course, that's going to be a little bit dead obvious. But I look at it and I go, man, what a weird time that we live in, that I don't agree with what you're saying and you don't agree with what I'm saying. So let me send you some shit balloons.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. A group of Dutch medical researchers are looking into the death caused by the vaccine mandates and lockdowns from COVID-19 pandemic. Examining data from 47 Western countries, including the United States, the researchers found that months into the lockdown and the vaccine rollout, death rates remained higher than the pre-pandemic year. When looking into solely at the U.S., the team noted double-digit increases in alcohol-caused fatality and drug overdoses fatalities. These findings coincide with two researchers from the University of Chicago that reported that the deaths in the U.S. from alcoholism, drug addiction, car accidents, hypertension, heart disease, and diabetes exceed a normal year over year by 100,000. Yeah, that's 100,000, just in case. And it gets worse. Those deaths of despair were among younger people, resulting in many more years of life loss of an elderly person succumbing to the virus. And even when it was obvious that the lockdowns were not working, officials continued to enforce them. Plus, when it became clear that children were not getting sick or dying from the virus, the CDC still pushed the school-age children to continue at-home learning, leading to severe learning losses. This is according to BMJ Public Health. That's where the information's coming from. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you, I think a lot of this stuff really depended on the state that you were living in. Some states allowed children to go back into the public schools to do certain things. Certain public schools allowed them to go back. Certain public schools were virtual. Some of them were actually the dual mode ones, where some of the students were there and some of the students were at home. So I don't know. I look back at that timeline and I go, man, what a terrible time that was. Do you remember that? I mean, that was, and I still think it's what I laugh about still is that people go back and go, do you remember? Fuel was like $2 or less at the time. Well, no shit. It's called supply and demand. Yeah, of course fuel was extremely cheap because nobody was on the road. You weren't allowed to do anything. Remember? It was really weird times if you think about it for a moment. But anyways, let's not get too in the weeds there, because that's an easy thing to open Pandora's box as we are talking. Anyways, take a listen to this. The Dow gained about 69 points to close at 38,868 on Monday. The S&P increased by 13 points to close at 5,360, and the Nasdaq increased by 59 points to close at 17,192. West Texas Intermediate closed at $78 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $80 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.44 on Monday, and Bitcoin was mostly flat on the day, trading just under 69,600. There was more than 3,430 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Monday, with more than 100 cancellations. That's really a low day on cancellations if you really kind of give it a thought. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $30 million, a jackpot, or a $13.9 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. So let's talk about some other stuff. Let me tell you about some entertainment stuff real quick, just in case if you want to know. Taylor Swift is holding on strong at the #1 spot of the Billboard 200 album chart, the Tortured Poet department. Spending its 7th week at the top, the album matches Swift's 2012 album, Red, for the fourth most hold on. For fourth for most weeks at number 1. Ahead of those are 1989 and Fearless with 11 weeks and Folklore with 8. She also extends her reign as her solo artist with the most career weeks at number 1 with 76, tying with Jay-Z. This is according to Billboard, so there you go. Some stuff to think about. So let's talk about Rumor Central, because apparently this is stuff that people enjoy talking about. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez spent about 4 hours inside of their Beverly Hills mansion over the weekend, the same home that they recently hit the market. It is not known what the couple did during the 4 hours from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., but social media has some ideas. Did they divvy up their possession, rekindle their romance, watch Jen's Netflix flick? The list is endless. So there you go. I mean, I guess that's important. I mean, I don't know. There you go. Anyways, take a listen to this. Carrie Underwood took a tumble while performing at the Carolina Country Music Fest in Myrtle Beach over the weekend. After belting out her biggest hits in the rain, no less, she stumbled down the steps at the back of the stage. She later posted about it, making things appear to be okay. This is according to TMZ. I mean, is this like world-breaking news that we needed to talk about this? I mean, I don't know. Kind of a weird thing to talk about, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. That's where we're at. I talked about this at the top of the hour, so I guess I'll talk about it now. Denise Richards is no stranger to reality TV, but her time with the Housewives franchise has always been a group activity. Now she will be the front and center as she's set to star in Denise Richards and the Wild Things, a new reality TV show about her and her family. The series will follow Richards and her husband, Aaron whatever, and her 3 daughters, Sammy, Alois, and Lola. Richards did previously have her own show on E! Called Denise Richards. It's Complicated, but only lasted about 2 seasons. A premiere date has been set for 2025. So there you go. If you're into that stuff, I guess you can be into it some more, because you're going to have some things readily available. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's do it.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, Rated R Safety Show, as we are talking and doing our main story stuff, because I think that that's the part of the show that we get to. And we get to talk, and we get to hang, and we get to, well, we don't get to do that last part, but we get to do all kinds of interesting stuff. There is no doubt there. But I wanted to talk to you today because I think it's interesting, some of the things that we tend to get into, and some of the things that tend to happen, and some of the things that I look at sometimes and I go, I'm not 100% sure that life is exactly what sometimes people expect it to be. And what do I mean when I say that? Well, I'm talking about some things here. So I don't know where you stand when it comes to certain items, but as you know, and I know, at some point, or I would assume at some point, you sat down and took a listen to what some people call Safety 1 or behavior-based safety. And you either agreed with what you were hearing or disagreed with what you were hearing, but took a listen to what was going on and said, hey, life is grand, let's continue moving. Kind of the way that it goes. Then what else happened? Well, then it maybe at some point, depending on where you stand, of course, you heard about Safety 2. And you said, wow, this human and organizational performance stuff sounds pretty interesting, or, safety differently, depending on how you want to title it. Sounds pretty interesting. Now, how does this work? How do we tie these worlds together? How do things move forward there? So if you start taking a look around and listening to what the cool kids are talking about, maybe not the cool kids, but what I'm seeing things happening online is the following. Now some people are talking about something I have never really heard of before, known as Safety 3. Now, Safety 3 is, I've heard different aspects of it, of how it's safety that comes down from the heavens, and I'm not sure if this is a biblical thing, but man, does it get interesting right away. So, I don't know really what to say here, because I look at it and I go, okay, Are we starting to number all these different safety things? Because at that particular point, if that's the case, maybe you should go out and buy every copyright and website for like safety 4, safety 5, safety 6, do some numbers. But why is it getting so strange with this numbering sequence? Now, I look at it and I go, if you did safety 1 or behavior-based safety, you probably put safety 2 on there and did it as a bolt-on and started moving, those things together. Because could you imagine you going to your organization and saying, hey, listen, after you doing so much work with all the stuff you had going on, we're going to turn around now, and I'm going to ask you to remove everything that you've done to this point, and we're going to start with a whole new program of safety. Do you know how that's going to go over? I don't think it's going to go over too well. Like, seriously, I want you to think about that for a moment. If you were to turn around and do that, I am not sure how well things would go. I mean, I think flavor of the week would become a prominent thing of somebody referencing right away about that's what's going on. So think about this for a moment. If you are looking for different aspects of safety, why don't you make safety yours? And you're going to go, what do you mean safety yours? Well, if you take the different aspects of what will work for you, you can do it as a plug and play. This works here, that works there. This is what we need here. That's what we need there. And understand that what you're trying to do is make sure that people still make it home. Try to understand that the things that you're doing is for people to be safe. Just because something works one place does not mean that it will work in another. Let's be realistic. Some people don't want to talk about that. At the end of the day, you have to make these things yours on what's going to be best suited for you and your organization. Some people get so hung up by some of these things that this is the only way that we can do something. I look at this and go, learning and improving is always the most important part. Blaming and punishing is not super important. I mean, I look at it and I go, what do you do? Because you really can't do both. You can learn or improve, or you can blame and punish. Which one would you want your organization to do? Maybe that's the aspect of the things that we should think about today, because that's always important as we move forward. What will be the best thing that's suited for you and your organization? Not so much on being hung up on what the new and the cool is.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, Since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Let me talk to you real quick. What is HelloFresh? With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Spend your time this month shopping for gifts and sipping cocoa, not stuck at the checkout line. Sign up for HelloFresh and get everything you need to whip up a fresh, tasty meal delivered to your door. Just choose your recipes, select a delivery date, and relax knowing the dinner's on its way. HelloFresh has over 45 recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week, so it's easier than ever to find something everyone will enjoy. Go to HelloFresh.com/safetyfm free. That's HelloFresh.com/safetyfm free to use the code safetyfm free for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/safetyfm free with code safetyfm free. And don't forget that this is why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Embrace a daily boost of nature with Field of Greens. Discover the simple power of one scoop to elevate your well-being. Enjoy the flavor that appeals to you the most and let the blend of organic fruits and vegetables enhance your life. Experience the following benefits with Fields of Greens. Noticeable energy increase to power you throughout the day.
Improved quality of sleep.
Enhanced digestive comfort and a general uplift in your wellness. Field of Greens stands out with the selection of organically grown ingredients, each carefully picked for its benefits to your heart and overall health. We are confident that you'll appreciate the benefits of Field of Greens. If it doesn't meet your expectations, we offer a straightforward money-back guarantee. Jumpstart your health journey with a special offer. 15% off your first purchase plus complimentary expedited shipping. Just visit fieldofgreens.com and use the code SAFETYFM to redeem your discount. That's SAFETYFM at fieldofgreens.com. Experience nature's touch at fieldofgreens.com/SAFETYFM. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
psychic crown with a little low key, guess that don't count. None found, so invisible. Why do you have to sound so unoriginal? Disallow my vowels, gon' get that bounce up and down that couch, impeccable. Kill 'em with a little bit of rhythm for your payroll. I'm over your nation, I'm a nation, get paid. Put 'em in the backtrack, fast like Pablo. Like Pablo, like Pablo, like Pablo. Kill 'em with a little bit of Lord of the G's, what mate? Force of the weak, mind on the leash, one for the crease, Middle East like snowflakes. Whether the weather gon' make a dilemma, just let a vendetta go bring it, beretta. You butter, your alpha, omega, ticket, but forget it, you cheddar, now never. Kill 'em with a little bit of rhythm for your payroll. I'm over your nation, I'm a nation, get paid. Put 'em in the backtrack, fast like Pablo. Like Pablo, like Pablo, like Pablo.
Okay, there you go. 46 minutes past the top of the hour. As you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday on the Rated R Safety Show. Hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show, no doubt about that. Yeah, a lot of stuff always going on here. So this right here, Liam Back. This is Pave Low. It's the name of the song, readily available for streaming for you. YouTube Music, Apple Music, and Spotify. So there you go. Always some stuff going on. Yeah, there you go. So, thanks to Liam Back for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. So, there you go. There you go. Anyways, let's get into the move and the groove of the things that we get to talk about. No doubt about that. Let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and it's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. Click on the section that says Find Help. It's right on the far right-hand side of the website. Once you click there, you're going to get into some sections that's going to talk about addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That will get you through some of the stuff. Now, listen, if you need a scholarship for some of this, you can apply for a treatment or recovery scholarship available right there on their website. And then if you go, hey, I'm not finding what I'm looking for, and you want to suggest a program, mental health providers are invited to submit their programs. So all you have to do is go there and click on where it says suggest a program. That will get everything moving there. So take a look at it and see what happens. No doubt about it. Get the move, get the groove, get everything rolling for you. Because that's the thing to do. To Write Love on Her Arms. TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world, because that is what we do around here. We talk about the world of the news, because what else would we do? So let's talk about this real quick. Financial experts are warning about a new trend of spaving. Yeah. The new trend of what now? Yeah. While the new marketing ploy is of enticing shoppers to spend more now in order to save money later isn't anything new, a number of media outlets have recently done stories explaining how spaving is contributing to people's racking up record amounts of debt. Lately, businesses have become very creative in how they are encouraging to spending more. including store credit cards, spending minimums for free shipping, subscriptions, and even popular buy one, get one deal. But spending to save doesn't necessarily translate into more savings, which many consumers have discovered the hard way by checking their credit card balance. One expert says the best way to approach a saving deal is to pretend that it's not even there. Treat it like you never saw it and make an effort to only buy what you originally intended to buy. But, that just sounds like so un-American. Yeah. Or insert, that whole thing of where you're at. And proceeding was not paid commercial by a message that's brought to you by any of the adventures of this station. It might not be a good right now to mention how much I love them. So I take a look at this and I go, when you go to the store and you're going to purchase something, do you go, hey, this is what I'm looking for? Or do you already kind of have like a plan of what you're going to do? Or do you go, oh, this is on sale. I need to get that. I need to get this. I need to move here. I mean, like I'll tell you, the local grocery store in the area that I live, what they do is when you walk in, the moment you walk in, after you grab your cart and go in there, the first thing that you see in there is their buy one, get one deals. And it's an array of stuff. And you know that it's stuff that you probably don't need. That's why it's on buy one, get one. But hey, it's one of those things that it goes, hey, whatever works. I don't know. Do you get caught up with that stuff? Some people do. I guess I do. I guess other people do. It just happens. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. If you love your carbs, beware of foods such as white bread, pasta, chips, cereal, and crackers could be worse for your teeth than dessert. Whitney DeFogie, as a registered dental hygienist is warning fermentable carbohydrates are bad for your teeth because they break down into sneaky sugars while they're still being chewed, which increases your chances of tooth decay. Parents will often offer goldfish crackers over candy because they believe that they're a healthier option, but it might be just as bad. Whitney also goes to say, said that the good news is that dark chocolate is surprisingly good for your teeth because it can easily be rinsed off, as foods require heavier biting and chewing, such as crunchy vegetables. The part about the veggies, that wasn't good news to me at all. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Are you going to be like on this kick now that you need to have vegetables carrying around? I mean, has anybody ever thought about carrying a toothbrush with them in regards of once you do stuff? I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. Anyways, let's bring some John Smalls inside of here because he's probably going to have better news than I have. So let's have him talk about the Motivation Minute right now.
Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Ryan. Theodore Roosevelt said, "Believe you can do it, and you're halfway there." What an excellent quote from Teddy Roosevelt. Too many times we underestimate how powerful our mind is. Just believing you can do something will make a difference. If you don't think you're going to hit your goal this month, you're probably right. If you don't think the person you like will go out with you, you're probably right. Change your way of thinking. Start imagining yourself in the winner's circle. What does it feel like? Imagine being the employee of the month. Imagine it enough, and you just might experience it in real life. Think about how it would feel for that person you like to say yes to a date. Then go ask them.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Nothing is more important to a vibrant spiritual life than prayer. What breath is to our body, prayer is to our soul. In prayer, we experience fellowship with the Father to nurture our soul, guidance to direct us, and anointing to accomplish our life's work. Prayer is the single most important spiritual discipline and the source of our strength. Matthew 6 says, "But when you pray, go away by yourself, shut the door behind you, and pray to your Father in private. Then your Father, who sees everything, will reward you." Lord Jesus, teach us to pray. Teach us to wait in your holy presence until we have received strength from on high. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2009, the WHO, or the WHO, declares H1N1 swine flu to be a global pandemic. Between 10 to 200 million people would be infected, with as many as 150,000 deaths. There was likely many more, but the agencies tracking such numbers gave up counting after a while. The following year, the WHO would also defend itself against the claim that it overstated the severity of the pandemic because of the pressure from the vaccine companies. That happened back in 2009. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, well, I have some of those for you. Kodak Black turns 27. Sadie Robertson turns 27 as well. Claire Holt, 36. Shia LaBeouf turns 38. Diane Tesori turns 42. Joshua Jackson turned 46. Peter Dinkley, 55. Mehmet Oz turns 64. Dr. Oz, just in case. Hugh Laurie turns 65. Joe Montana turns 68. And Robert Munch turns 79. So just in case if you're looking at some birthdays for today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you as well. It's National Making Life Beautiful Day. It's National Call Your Doctor Day. KBG Syndrome Awareness Day. International Lynx Day. National German Chocolate Cake Day. National Corn on a Cob Day. So there you go. Some things to celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. If you're looking for a random joke for today, well, of course I have one of those for you. Immortality could be defined as morality for those who are having a better time. Yeah, there you go. There you go. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What should be written on your headstone, funny or not? And let's see, what else? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. Years ago, almost every child did this. About 30% do it now. What is it? Jump rope. No, seriously, it's jumping rope. That's the thing. So there you go. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm exclusively for the next couple hours or so if you want to come and hang out with me. If you don't, that's fine. You can stay here, hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus here on Safety FM and do the things that he does, talking about the world of safety consulting. If you go over to RadioBig.fm, we'll talk about music and entertainment and play some music for you because that's what we do over there. So there you go. That's going to sum up my time with you. I hope you had a grandioso time as we got to hang out on this lovely, lovely Tuesday. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Well done is better than well said. Think about that. That one might take you to places that you never expected. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big. That is the listener. Without you, it makes no sense to do what we do around here. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Same old same, just brand new crew. Back to the spot with the wind don't breathe. Psychic crown with a little low key, gets that don't count. None found, so invisible. Why do you have to sound so unoriginal? Disallowed my vowels, gon' get that bounce up and down that couch, impeccable. Killing with a little bit of rhythm for your payroll. I'm over your nation, I'm a legendary pesos. Put them in the backtrack, fast like Pablo. of the G's. What, mate? Force of the weak, mind on the leash, room for the grease, Middle East like snowflakes. Whether the weather gon' make